Can you believe it's almost Christmas? It's almost the end of 2023. And so in this video, we're going to go ahead and plan for all the upcoming holidays, making sure that we get to have fun as a family and it takes some of the stress off of us, the ones that are like having to plan and do all the things. The way that we plan it is using index cards. And I just did a 4x6 card deck I'm so excited about because people actually asked me for the 4x6 card deck. I actually really like it. I was just using my normal 3x5 card deck and I was like, oh, it's cute, it's a baby. So the 4x6 is really fun and you can check it out in my Etsy shop. But in this video, I'm going to use my 3x5 card deck because we're doing it, like I'm organizing my life, planning out Christmas. So the nice thing about this is that it's not to-do lists. They're card decks, so you can shuffle an activity. If you don't get to it, you then just push it back into another day. So it's not like you, at the end of the holiday season, your bucket list or your to-do list is left unchecked because you never planned out when you were going to do things. You've actually assigned a date to it. You've planned ahead. You know it's coming, and I'm going to show you how to do that. So this is the 4x6. You can see they're quite a bit bigger than my usual 3x5 deck, but I think it's kind of fun, and I'll probably use it for demonstrations or for teaching because they're larger print, potentially just easier to see on video, maybe. If you already bought the 3x5s from me, just message me and I'll send you the 4x6s. I have to do this. I've got my 3x5 card deck. This is what it looks like. This is my entire year coming up, and it's nice because it's set. So for that, I've got my regular card deck that I'm working from, and then I have this holiday piece. So this is Christmas. These are like must-do items, not necessarily the fun items, but stuff that I'll do to make myself like chill. I mean, there's fun things like create a movie night. There's also storm. This is a really big deal, especially for our family. We're out on a boat, and I was thinking about sharing more about that. You'll have to let me know if you care. Speaking of live aboard life, our fenders are squeaking. Our boat is whatever. There's no wind, so I don't know what's going on, but our boat is being pushed against some fenders and they're squeaking. So if you hear a squeaking sound, it's not me. It's nothing inside the boat. It's outside the boat. It's our fenders.
Fenders, whatever fenders. Yeah, those rubber bumper things right up there.
They keep your boat from hitting the dock. I'll wait and see if you can hear it again. Of course, now you can't hear it. But we live aboard, and so there's certain things I have to consider. But there was also certain things I had to consider when we were on land. So there's cards for that to make sure that, so that's one stack. That's for Christmas. Another thing that I use is the Rolodex card deck. And I just printed out the dividers because I had created new dividers for my daily dates. And then I realized that the Rolodex card, they haven't been replaced in a couple years and they're looking a little tattered. But the Rolodex is another thing that I use for Christmas cards. And then also with birthdays, it's really nice because you are able to pull out your Rolodex card and place it on the date that their birthday is or the date that you need to purchase the card or send it off. Then a couple other things that I'll use in planning items out. There's the meals divider. So I have a divider and then I have meal cards. Each little section in the recipe card is something that I actually look for in the recipes. Yes, you can look up blogs and recipes online, but it is so irritating when you're cooking and the ads are switching things and moving things around and then trying to find recipes using ebooks, and it's just a mess. So I just really love I use this all the time, these paper recipe cards. And then when you schedule a meal, like if you have create a meal plan, which I did this week, so proud of myself. I did it last week too. I saved so much money and we ate better too. You can then file the meal that you have planned in front of the date that you're going to actually make it. And for my case, there's certain days like I have to prep the bread a couple days ahead of time, then I'll put the bread that day. I'll do the meal cards too. Those are super helpful. And then also with the holidays, there is a special holiday meal card too where there's like a holiday meal plan where it's one day and I can write out all the things. Another section that I use for the holidays is this storage divider. So this is actually super duper helpful, especially when it comes to like Christmas decorations, that type of thing. So for example, and this has been like crazy helpful on the boat because we have a storage unit and it has all of our items. And sometimes Shane and I, my husband and I, will think like, do we have this item, and we can't remember, and then I'll pull out my storage cards and I'll know if I have it or not. I have the storage bin number up at the top, and this is from Sidetracked Home Executives. And when I say just get started with that one product that I was talking about at the beginning of this video, I didn't start using the storage cards for years because it wasn't something like super on the top of my mind. Once I got the rest of my life figured out, then I started being more intentional with storage. And then when we moved, it was even better. So having these storage cards has been such a lifesaver. So I can go in and find Christmas, for example, which I believe each one has like a code. Mine are a little bit different than Sidetracked Home Executives because there's so many other categories that you need, I feel like, nowadays. You can see, so C number 1 and C number 2. I put it on one card. Here you can see that I have Christmas ornaments in C1, Christmas decor, I have stockings, tree skirts, Santas in C2, and then I have Halloween items too. I was trying to remember, for example, if I had witch hats, and I do, because I have it on my card. So that's what you keep in your card deck then. And then in your storage unit or in your garage or wherever it is that you're keeping these decorations, then you use these type of labels. So this is what I have in my storage kit that I sell on Etsy. They're really large. I use just a, what's that called, like the packing tape that's clear, and I taped these onto the outside of the boxes so that I can see. There's a small space below it where it's like a quick summary of what's in the box, and then you put B number, like 1 example for the first box, and then you'll include that in your items so you can quickly find stuff. This is what I'm really excited about. So I'm going to use my fun card. It's the weekly week in review or week ahead card, and that's just going to make sure that at the beginning of the week I know what fun items I have planned coming up and that I might need to be thinking about. And then I have the card of the fun activity filed away, so that way I just make sure that we're still having these really cool memories as a family and I'm not stressed and like overwhelmed by all the things I need to do. So I'm going to cut these out and file these away just like I will with the Christmas cards into the dates that I'd like to have them taken care of. So my 12-week year is coming up. It's done on December 9th, I believe. I should double check that. It's on my affirmation card. It's done on December 9th. So that was intentionally done that way so that I could have the rest of December like off. But I mean, I'm not going to have it off because I still have videos planned, but at least I'm not like striving for something. And it was, so anyway, that's going to be done by then. I'll be able to just kind of have fun with the videos. Not that I'm not having fun now, but I won't measure stuff and learn things. So one other fun thing that I did last year with the card deck was I did a countdown. So I took just the blank index card of this and I did, I think, one for each day of December, and it was a countdown. So for example, 25, 24, 23, and then I did a watercolor. I did it with my youngest son. He's really into art, and so we did like an art project together where we created a countdown, and mine was on the cards. So I'm going to do that again this year, but I'm going to do doodles. So that's another fun way that you can incorporate more of the creative side of being a planner into your card deck. The thing about this planner is that you're not creating new to-do lists unless you're doing a 12-week year planner piece. You're not doing that. You're using these same cards over and over again. So you can add cute doodles, especially like I have these small graphics on it just as an intention getter. And one other final thing that I wanted to pull out as far as some attention to when you're planning out your holidays is this piece. It's an annual review and setting goals. It's a single card and it lists some questions for you to consider. When I do my monthly review, I just started adding the items onto a divider. So one of the things that I was considering doing for this annual piece is creating a divider for 2024 or maybe 2023 or just some type of divider used within my card deck and making it a 2023 memory capsule, maybe pulling in images and printing that out, or even creating like favorite quotes or movies or that type of thing, but doing some kind of piece where if I'm having a day that I'm like, this is not, things aren't going my way, blah, 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 that I'd be able to see that card and just get like a nice little positivity boost. Okay, we'll start looking at a few of these now. because I can tell you right off the bat that I have a lot to do as far as emergency preparedness goes. And I'll tell you a little bit about that. And then also some of the Christmas ones were on day 14 of the card deck. So some of them I'm just going to be putting in front of December, the month, and not like assigning it to a date. So let's get started. All right, I've already got these cards done for you, but there's no reason why you can't create your own by using index cards and getting all of this up and going. So if you want to just save the time, check out my Etsy shop. Now going into the card deck, I'm going to go over today's cards first. I'm just going to touch them and move them aside because really the whole objective of this video is to show you how I'm organizing the card deck for the upcoming holidays and getting prepared ahead of time. As I mentioned, because this is mid-November, I'm currently in these daily date dividers, and therefore I'm going to be putting a number of the ones for December just in front of the December monthly tab. But at least you'll see what that looks like. For quick reference, I'm pulling out my monthly cards, and this is a feature that I have that I really enjoy in my card deck, and it's for quick reference where I can quickly see which date is coming up, and I always have it with me no matter where. It's not like taped onto a card box or anything like that. I can be in my car and know what date is the next Monday. And the reason why you have that is because each of these daily date dividers doesn't have like a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday type divider. I've tried that and it just didn't work. And so I just use these monthly cards as quick reference so I can see, because for example, this date was a Tuesday. Each Tuesday, I do certain tasks. So as I complete them, I then shuffle the cards over to the following Tuesday. Because it's quick reference, I started adding the holidays onto the right-hand side. On my cards, I have a dot grid that helps me line up those holidays. I do write pretty tiny. I don't necessarily need to have all these holidays on there, but it's nice for the reference. Because of that, I'm adding a visual cue by highlighting these holidays that we're talking about. I'm highlighting Christmas and Christmas Eve and November. Those holidays are Thanksgiving and the day after as far as like family goes, and traveling days on Wednesday, that type of thing. So I just have that cue. This part is what I was referencing earlier in the video, which is the fun ahead review cards. And this is part of my fun card deck. And this is to just keep me on my toes. Often what will happen with these like fun items is that there is some prep work to them. And if I don't know it's coming up and I haven't mentally like prepared myself to get those items or added it to the task for the day, then I don't get them done. So having that fun card that's saying, okay, on this date, I'm going to be baking cookies. Well, I need to know that I have to go grocery shopping then prior to that date. It just helps me plan ahead. And I know it's kind of silly, but it's effective for me. And again, there's some dot grid on the right-hand side so that I can take notes and say like, oh, remember to do this, that type of thing. But I shuffled them in front of Saturdays because Saturdays are when I plan my week, and then put the remainder of them in front of December for the following weeks up until the end of the year. Now going into the Rolodex, this is what I was talking about earlier. I'm updating the dividers, but I did notice that as I was pulling them out, all of my personal contact information was being shown, so I just cut that out. This is pretty self-explanatory. Each of the contact cards is placed in front of the date, or the alphabet, the letter that's in their last name. And then I have blanks for the contact cards in here, which I'm trying to find. Another cool thing that somebody reached out to me about was for website usernames and password storage. And I'm going to include that with the Rolodex eventually. I just need to add that on, which I thought was a great idea as far as like shuffling those items in front of A, B, C, D, those dividers. But otherwise, I use it just for my contacts, and then I add those important dates like anniversaries and birthdays at the bottom and include all their information up at the top. This has been something I need to add to as far as like cruiser contacts go too. As we meet new people over the summer, I'd like to be able to add those things in so that we'll have reference there as well. These are the meal plan cards that I was talking about that are for single days. I have them for the weeks as well. But the single days is kind of a fun reminder of all the things, because sometimes what I'll do at the end of the day, whatever holiday it is, I'll remember, oh, I forgot to bake this. And so now I'll remember. So before I go over all of the fun Thanksgiving cards, I wanted to do all the ones that I absolutely have to get done. In my Thanksgiving card deck, I have both a summary card and single action card. And I did that because sometimes I think it can get overwhelming when you have so many different cards in your card deck. But at the same time, it's also kind of helpful if you're doing specific tasks on certain days, so you can break them up and it's less of like a to-do list that keeps getting shuffled, if that makes sense. Pulling out those monthly cards, just as a reminder, I'm crossing off the dates that I forgot to cross off. And again, it's all just visual cues. It's showing me, oh my goodness, November's almost over. And then I cross off the holidays that have passed by as well. Going through the Thanksgiving actions that must be done. I'm going to go over each one with you, starting with the summary cards, which I'm going to pull a couple from. Here you can maybe, if you're making your own cards, maybe you can get some ideas of what cards to make yourself. I have the dot grid on the right-hand side, which allows you to create the to-do list or the notes. You can see my husband over on the left-hand side. I'm recording the audio after the fact. This is our navigation table, so he's walking by. So I pulled the meal plan, the grocery shop, and the deep clean kitchen. I'm not hosting Thanksgiving this year, and we're traveling for it, but I still want to clean my kitchen. I think that's a great opportunity to make sure everything's nice and spotless. I'm going to go ahead and place these cards first. I noted the dates that I do deep cleaning days when we're traveling, and maybe also like when I'm actually already cleaning the kitchen, and I'm going to go ahead and shuffle those in those places. The meal planning piece I already have scheduled for this Wednesday, which is today, the 15th. So I just placed the Thanksgiving one today so I can just batch those actions together. The important thing is that I'm placing the actions on dates that I actually know I'm going to get them done. They're not getting transferred from day to day to day if I don't get to them. So now these are the single action cards that the summaries are based off of. Hosting Friendsgiving, planning games and parade activities. So again, these are some ideas that you could add to it. The timestamp is up on the right-hand side. Those are estimates for the most part. There's a description below and then a little doodle that just gives you that visual cue. So those are all some things that you could do. I'm not getting a turkey because again, I'm not hosting Thanksgiving, but we do have a cool little grocery program where you can earn a free turkey. I don't know if we'll be able to do that, but the ones that I'm setting to the left are ones that I want to do, and then like send invitations. I'm not hosting Thanksgiving, but I do because we're going to be in town. I want to make sure I reach out to people. So I can kind of be flexible with what each card means to me. I do love the idea of getting all of these items done ahead of time though, so that you could have all of your vegetables already pre-chopped, your greens all washed and cut and ready to go. I like the idea of ordering specialty produce if there's a farmer's market up ahead of time, or if there is a farm that's taking orders or boxes, that you have that scheduled well in advance and that you have that card to remind you. So that's where actions like those single actions I think really pay off. The cards that I'm not going to use, I'm going to go ahead and just save those for next year. I have a little like plastic bag that I keep cards that I am not currently using in there. That also has last year's dividers too. Therefore, I can just pull them out next year. The other option is that you could put them in front of the November month and then just keep them in there and schedule them next year as you go. But for me, because I use this on the go, I just want to keep it as slim as possible when I really don't need the cards. So I'd probably add them back in next year around September. So now what I'm doing is I'm placing each of those cards that I was interested in doing in front of the date, again, that I would most likely be able to do it. Some considerations I have in mind are our travel dates, where we're going to be at activities outside of the home, sports, that type of thing, when we're going to be busy. And then I also have that baked into my weekly flow, which I've talked about a number of times on this channel, where on Mondays I do certain things, Tuesdays I do certain things, and it's all about the energy of the day and less about the actual tasks. So on Monday it's more about water and emotion and setting the tone for the week, and therefore I do certain tasks based off of that broader definition of the day, I guess. For kid activities, I really love this. If you have little ones or if you have nieces and nephews, there's so many different free printables for Thanksgiving online for crosswords and that type of thing. There's places if you need games, thrift stores, homeschool places. There's all sorts of places to get them affordably, or even on Facebook if you request games, people would be able to then exchange them with you. But getting that taken care of that way, there's always something ready to do on holidays for little ones is always a good idea. Now, I know our schedule, but it would be a good idea for if you feel foggy about it, or if you're planning ahead of time, that you have your calendar with you so you know when it is that you're doing these things. So now getting into the fun Thanksgiving cards, I just really enjoy doing these like bucket list type items. Not doing a summer pod because we're on a boat and I'm constantly fighting off condensation. So it seems like a bad idea. But for you, I'd love that for you. The Macy's Day Parade, I'm so excited about that. If you need something free or affordable, Peacock has it on their app. Creating a gratitude tree. That's a tradition in our house for the past few years where I cut out leaves from paper bags. We each write things we're grateful for throughout the week, and then now on the boat I tape them up around the boat using painter's tape, but when we were in the house I would use string and tie them to branches that I found out in our front yard. And I really need to do this no sugar recipe piece. I have an issue with sugar right now that I just can't break, and it's not cool. There's so many other little fun things that you can plan though. There's making sure that you have a relaxing holiday season. You go into it with maybe pampering yourself, sharing a memory journal. I think that's a fun idea. If you have Thanksgiving memories, I was trying to think about it. I was like, I can't think of any Thanksgiving memories. Probably because I'm, running around trying to do things. Upgrading a fall wardrobe, creating a playlist too for Thanksgiving is always kind of a nice touch. Taking a moment to make sure that you have quiet time for yourself. One year I created a recycled fabric garland and it turned out really cool. Not going to do that this year. Also making sure scents are on point. And doing things for your neighbors is also a nice thing you can add. I'm trying to be realistic about what it is that I can get done in the next week. And now that I'm looking at it now, I'm like, am I really going to get all this stuff done? I don't know. But I'm going to go ahead and place all of those cards just like I did with the items that I need to get done in front of dates that I think I'll be able to do them. Some days of the week that are usually more conducive towards personal activities or fun activities for me. On Thursdays are more of hobby days for me. Fridays are for indulging, so facials, that type of thing. Eating pizza. Sundays are great for just relaxing and recharging. Saturdays are, in general, a great time to be able to schedule in family activities. So having that set up for yourself is always kind of helpful ahead of time. Expressing gratitude at family dinners is a great activity, something that I don't always think of doing, so I appreciate having a card to cue myself to do that. I also have a card for a 20,000 steps day. It's been a while since I've done that. Every once in a while I'll naturally get in 15,000 steps, but lately it's been more of 10,000 on a good day, 5,000 on a video editing type day. So that would be a great thing to be able to get done. Hunting for leaves sounds silly and childish, but it's actually pretty cool. So now I'm scheduling this ahead of time because I need some time to cut out the leaves from the bags. I don't really need a card for the Thanksgiving parade, but it's kind of fun to look at it and think, oh, this is coming up. I have this for the local food bank as a reminder for myself. I have an administrative day on the 15th, and so I'm going to look up what this community has as far as food bank opportunities go. And then I'm going to go ahead and place the meal plan on the day that I'm reviewing the possible meal plan or recipes that I'd like to make. Again, I'm not hosting Thanksgiving, so this is really loose, and this is more in terms of leftovers. I have 3 more meal plan for holiday cards, and I'm going to go ahead and place those in front of December in just a little bit because I have storm and Christmas cards to review still. So going over each card for the storm, I do think these are important actions that all of us should be taking, and you watching it might be like, oh, I already have my kit all ready to go, and I can't believe you don't. And I know, I really should. I have a ditch kit on our boat. Even our ditch kit isn't complete. So now this is my smoke and carbon monoxide reminder to check those. And I remembered when I was doing the cards that I actually have a time that I do that, and that's in May before we head out again. And it's also when we do the extinguishers, so I'm able to batch those items. And the extinguishers, the reason why I'm able to confidently say that happens in May is because it's a Coast Guard requirement, and so I have like a physical reminder on those extinguishers that are placed in prominent positions on the boat that remind me that I need to get that taken care of. Fire extinguishers are interesting. If you should have one in your home, especially in the kitchen, you do need to get them recharged for the most part, and then some of them will also expire. So you need to make sure you keep up on that. Other things that I'm batching are the car, as far as taking care of winter items and making sure I'm prepared in that sense and getting the emergency kit in there. I have a car appointment, so I'm going to go ahead and batch that as well. I know what date that is, so that's going to be easy to place that. As far as the generator card goes, you could either maybe purchase a generator if you don't have one yet, or purchase fuel for the generator, or have other items that are not necessarily generator specific, but more so like what would a generator provide? It would provide warmth and food, make sure that you have extra blankets, that type of thing. So you could always modify the cards within Canva if you've purchased this kit, or you can just create your own and make sure that you break that up. But the idea is still there. Getting into the really fun cards for the December items for Christmas holiday cards. Again, a number of these cards are just going to be placed in front of the December divider, so please subscribe to my channel because I'll be doing a December plan with me in which you'll see how I place each of these cards in the month of December. Any ones that need to be done prior to then are going to be filed ahead of any of the dates leading up to the 14th, basically. So beginning of December are all going to be filed. If it's a date, like I said, it might, like the event might be occurring at that point in December, but I need to purchase something ahead of time and remember to do that, then I'll place the card on those earlier dates, even though I might be doing the action later in December. Now, the declutter piece, I'm pretty sure I meant to put it in November because we're going in the mainland and I'd like to donate things, but I was using the monthly card, so the 16th still works for me as far as decluttering and donating, but still I thought that was funny. I was like, no, that was supposed to be November. As far as a family newsletter goes, I'm not going to be creating a literal newsletter, but I do like the idea of doing kind of a wrap-up for 2023, whether it's for myself or to put out on social media. So I still filed that away. Putting away the decor, I'm going to use as a fall, since this is a blanket holiday card, I can use it again for other holidays. So I'm going to first file that ahead of time so I can put away my fall decor. I don't decorate for Christmas yet until Advent begins, which is not until December 3rd. Now, this is an example of a bucket list item, the Create a Night Before Christmas box that I've wanted to do for years, but I've never gotten around to it. This year, having the card present and knowing that I have a specific date that I'm going to put this together, hopefully that will make sure that I get it done this year, and I'll report back and let you know how it goes. But I placed that in December because I want to shop local for that, and there's like an actual shop local day, and I need to know when that is, and I believe it's not until like mid-December anyway. Now, the preparing your camera card, I'm going to be doing Vlogmas towards the end of November, beginning of December, so it leads up to Christmas. And I've tried to do this so many times. I've done it once successfully before, but it's a lot of work. And so I'm going to go ahead and make sure that I plan that out and get the camera ready beforehand. On a side note, I saw that there was a stock image here for the dispose of the Christmas tree. And just so you know, this is a proof that I had printed out, and I've already fixed that stock image. I just didn't replace it because I don't need to dispose of a Christmas tree. Also, if you do ever find mistakes in my card deck, it's just me making all of this stuff. So please don't hesitate to reach out and let me know. And I'm pretty quick on making sure that there's a fix right away for you. So now there are certain cards that I just don't know which date I'm going to do, and they might even be in later the December. So I'm going to go ahead and file those, like I said earlier, in front of the month of December. That monthly tab is housing all of the dates that are currently in December. So anything, I believe November is 30 days. And so anything from the 14th to the 30th is still in front of the November monthly divider. And anything between 1 and 14 is in front of December. That's allowing you to get those dates planned. Again, I'm going to set up my tree on the 3rd of December. It's a really cute, tiny boat tree. We do it a little differently every year, so it'll be fun to see what we end up pulling together this year. And then the Advent items, I'm going to start on Advent, but doing some type of Advent calendar for the kids as far as the countdown goes. Like I said, I'm going to do a card doodle for myself. Each day I'll have a countdown that'll just brighten my day, and plus it'll be a fun activity to do while we watch a Christmas movie after Thanksgiving. Having cash on hand for tips is something that I did. Well, it's a lot easier to remember to do on the boat because there's so many opportunities to hand out tips for people. Having that as a reminder to go get cash is really helpful. Decorating the house, I don't think people need a reminder to do that. I think a lot of us want to do it, but having a day set aside is just kind of nice, saying this is the day I'm going to do it. Maybe for some of you, you do push it off, so that'll give you saying, I have to do it this day. Creating a movie night plan. Again, I'll try for the December plan with me. Make sure you subscribe. I'll put together the Christmas movie posters, and then I'm going to print that out and cut it up and put it on the wall. So I'll include that as a link for the December plan with me too. But the other thing that I would potentially do is create a movie wheel, which is always fun. And then upgrading it with Christmas treats is always a good plan too. I just filed away the meal plans for Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, and New Year's, which I will take care of at another point. Am I the only one that does not have a plan for what they're doing for Christmas yet? Because I don't. So I'm filing it away. So before November ends, I'll definitely have a plan. I'm batching a lot of these cards together because there are certain days that I know I'm going to be doing things. We're on an island right now, and so when I'm in the mainland, we're doing a whole handful of things. We're not so this isn't, I think, a typical type of card organizing. It's more like I have this one opportunity in order to purchase and get all of these services done. I want to make sure that I get it taken care of then. I decided to use a Christmas gift list and budget with the dot grid on the side, and that'll just give me opportunities to be able to write notes on the card as reminders. So now I'm just putting away those monthly cards. I put December or November in front of the date that I'm working from, or in this case, I put it in front of tomorrow's date as a reference. And then for December, I'm just going to go ahead and put it in front of the first divider, and that way as I go, I know exactly where it will be if I need it later on. Thank you so much for watching. I'm really excited for the holidays because I'm going to do more fun videos around using the card deck, and I was going to share more about our liveaboard life through the card deck. So you'll have to let me know if you're at all interested, and I will do some of that.